I'm Rachel. I'm a parent of a little 1-year-old with a unilateral sensorineural hearing loss. I also happen to be an audiologist, so I feel like my journey has been quite unique so far. Charlie, our child with a hearing loss, is our second born, and my husband also has a unilateral hearing loss. And so when we were preparing for the birth of our first child, that was definitely something that we thought about, didn't fear, but we thought about often. And we both felt like something we could totally handle, because he knows what it's like to have a hearing loss. I know what it's like to manage that. And so when John, our older one, was born with normal hearing, we thought, oh, we could just check that off. Our kids are going to have normal hearing, which is so silly. So then when Charlie was born and failed his newborn hearing screening at 1 year, I feel bad saying this, but I brushed it off. I just thought, oh, he has normal hearing, it's fluid, and nobody really told me that, but that's what I internalized, and I don't know if that was denial setting in, or I don't know, but we, of course, quickly addressed the rescreen because we know that that's important. So even though we kind of thought that it wasn't a hearing loss, we went ahead and rescreened quickly, and it was that rescreen when I think reality really set in, and we kind of just had the shock of, wow, I think he's going to have a hearing loss. And he was diagnosed at 2 weeks of age with a moderate to severe sensorineural hearing loss at 1 year, and the news was shocking. I think probably every parent who gets the news probably goes into the diagnostic evaluation ready to hear bad news, but it's still shocking. The great thing that we heard on that very first day of diagnosis was that we didn't have to make a decision that day, that we had time to process it, and that was such a gift. Sorry. And so that's what we did. We had time to think about it and to grieve it differently, but also share that experience with one another, which was so wonderful. I had always worked with an organization that's focused on family support, and that was as a professional. And one thing that's been, looking back, just interesting is that when we first got the diagnosis, I really wanted to distance myself from that organization at first, which I know makes no sense whatsoever. But for families who I think sometimes are having a hard time processing it internally, I get why at first you really don't want to be called by someone. You really don't want to meet with somebody else. You really just need time to accept it yourself before you're really ready to share that with other people, even though they all mean for the best. Of course, in the field of audiology, there's sometimes mixed opinions on what to do with the unilateral hearing loss, but I was of the opinion of, well, if it's aidable, maybe we should try it and just see how he does with it. But my husband was born in an era that's not what we did back then in our profession, and so I was like printing off research articles for him all the time and saying, see, here's other evidence of why we should do it now. And finally he said, Rachel, I'm on board. You don't have to worry about it. We're in this together. I'm on board. You don't have to convince me. And so we took that and we ran. And it's been such a great learning experience, just to kind of realize what other families go through. It's been wonderful in teaching me to be a better audiologist, to be a better mom. And we've been through the same challenges that I'm sure every parent of a child with a hearing loss goes through. We've been through the baby stage where the child is constantly ripping off the hearing aid and you want to just throw it across the room. We've been through the the child has an ear infection, and then you get the tubes, and then the ears drain, and then you can't wear the hearing aid, and it's like, well, we're committed to this now, and now we can't even wear what we've committed to. I think in the stages of us grieving it, we've also had a hard time at some point really owning the decisions that we've made for him. And I think for me more so than my husband, but I think just because of where I work and what I do, I think I internalize a lot of it. I don't think I really am being judged, but sometimes I feel like, well, would they have done the same thing for their child, knowing what they know? Am I making the right decisions here? And sometimes having a hard time really owning that, really being confident in the decisions that we've made so far. That's hard. For us, we struggled for so long with Charlie pulling out the hearing aid and putting it back in and putting it back in and constantly. And then it was like night and day when that child started wearing his hearing aid consistently. And it was like turning over a new page. And now we're kind of in a good stage where he's accepted his hearing aid really, really well, and makes us really proud of wearing it like he does. And it makes us also really proud that we've kind of given him a gift of hearing at both ears and spatial sound, and the gift of being able to know where sound comes from. And so we definitely see that all the time, daily, that he hears with both ears thanks to his hearing aid. So it's been a great learning year. And I think we're in a position where we feel like we can tackle whatever life puts in front of us. I'm really thankful for Charlie, and I'm thankful for what the entire journey has done for us as a family, and for me as an audiologist, and as an advocate. I was an advocate before I had a child with a hearing loss, and now I just kind of wear a different hat, I guess, of a different color. So that's my story.